Hi!
Hi!
Okay, so everyone, this is Anjali Thakkar, and she's going to tell you guys a little about herself.
Hi guys! First of all, Hamsika, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to do this. It's been one of my dreams to be on the admissions blog, and it's finally coming true. So, to introduce myself, I'm Anjali, and I'm a junior here at MIT, and I'm actually double majoring in biology and materials science and engineering. And I'm from San Jose, California, and I'm a sister of Kappa Alpha Theta. And yeah, do you have any questions for me?
No, that's good. Okay, so tell everyone why I'm interviewing you today.
Well, last week I actually found out that I received the Truman Scholarship, and if you're not aware of what that is, it's one of the distinguished fellowships. So it goes with the ranks of like the Rhodes, the Marshall, the Gates, and generally those scholarships. And it's awarded to college juniors, so I'm a junior, and it's basically for people who've demonstrated potential in leadership, academics, and a commitment to public service. And I received this and I was absolutely shocked with the news and very, very excited. And so Hamsika contacted me and asked if we could do an interview, and I was obviously very excited.
So when did you find out?
I actually found out last Wednesday. I'm a TA for a class for 705, which is biochemistry, and I got a text, or, well, I'd gotten a call the night before, so I went and stopped by my faculty advisor's room right before the class, and I was very nervous. She told me afterwards that it was the first time she'd seen me not smiling, because I was literally on pins and needles to find out. But I went in and I found out. But actually, to tell you this story, because it's really, really interesting, my faculty advisor had found out the Sunday before, because that's when all of the institutions had found out. But, of course, I didn't know yet. And it turns out that the Truman Foundation contacts your faculty advisor and the president of your institution, which in this case means President Susan Hockfield, someone I admire totally. And so it turns out that my faculty advisor hadn't told me, because she was trying to orchestrate with President Hockfield for President Hockfield to tell me, which is of course another dream come true of mine. So on Tuesday night, actually last week we had something called Culture Show, which is a show with a lot of Indian dances and singing acts. Yeah. So on Tuesday night, I had rehearsal for that from 10 p.m. to midnight, and I was in the dance studio. And at 10:30, I put my phone on silent because I didn't want to be disturbed, and at 10:30, apparently I got a call from some random 617 number, which means it's the Boston area code. And at midnight, I checked my phone, and I was like, oh, I wonder who this could be. Maybe it's one of the biochemistry kids asking me for help because they had an exam on Friday. And I was like, well, just to make sure, I think it's too late to call back at midnight, so let me text. So I texted the number back, and I was like, hey, who is this? Sorry I don't have your number. I was in dance practice, but just give me a call back. The next morning, I found out that it was President Hockfield.
So you texted President Hockfield?
Yes.
Asking her who she was.
It was too funny.
Nice.
And
classy.
My faculty advisor won't let this one down. Not that she should. It was really funny. But so I didn't find out from President Hockfield. I actually found out from my faculty rep the next morning. But then I sent President Hockfield an email apologizing for not picking up her call and just showing her how excited I was about this. But yeah, that was my exciting story.
Nice. So what was like the process like for?
Yeah, it was a pretty long process. It wasn't really what I had expected, but around the spring semester of my sophomore year, I was contacted because I'm pretty involved with the Public Service Center, and so some of my advisors there just, mentioned the Truman Scholarship to me and told me that it might be of interest to me because of what I'd been involved in. And so I contacted my faculty advisor and just told her that, these are my experiences and I'm interested in applying for the Truman if you think that I might be qualified for it. So that was that for spring semester, and then junior year rolled around. and I decided to apply for the Truman. So you actually go through a process where you have to be nominated by your institution, because each institution is only allowed to choose 4 students to then advance to the national competition.
Right.
So around in November, I submitted my application to MIT, and they reviewed it and then called all of the people who had applied in for interviews. And then we all interviewed for that, and then they selected 4 people, 4 nominees from MIT. And then over the month of December and January, I worked with my faculty advisor to refine my application.
So is this like your major advisor?
No, it's not my major advisor. Actually, the process of distinguished fellowships at MIT is that we have a distinguished fellowships office,
Okay.
and the advisor, her name is Kim Bernard, and mad shout out to her. She is literally one of the most amazing people I've ever met.
Yeah.
But I worked with her and also a past Truman Scholar, Professor Ann McCants from the history department. And so I worked with them to refine my application, and then in February I submitted it to the National Truman Competition. And then mid-February they selected 197 finalists from different states, and I applied from California. And so then, in I think, mid-March, we had interviews, and from California, I think there were 13 finalists. So we all got together at the San Francisco Federal Courthouse, and we were interviewed by the president of the Golden Gate University Law School, a federal attorney, just like very awesome people.
Yeah.
And just like meeting them and being in their presence was a cool experience.
Yeah.
And so we just interviewed with, it was like a 30-minute interview, and we got to hang out with the other finalists and get to know each other, which was really nice. And then I think 2 weeks later, they told us about the results.